Going live. Hello, hello, hello. YouTube, YouTube and Facebook. Y'all have to deal with my hair. I tell you when it's natural. I just went outside briefly. Natural tips now that I don't have my crochets in. Please feel free to do so. I've been purchasing all types of products basically just to help with my ends from freezing up or freezing up. But I think it's mainly because it's so used to being braided, particularly on the ends. Let me get everything set up. I'm going right into the topic. Let me know me well. Have my microphone. I think it's adjusted as I can, meaning that it won't. Brief for me is under 20 minutes, right? So make sure that you hit the thumbs up. You're watching on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up. You're watching on Facebook. Do the same. Let me know if you can hear me well. Um, you can see me well. Trying to get a hair adjusted. The root is fine. It's just the end freezes up. So it's been a great weather day here in Mississippi. Tonight is Sunday as I'm trying to share this on my Facebook Live. I think it's froze, but it's Sunday, so let's have a little credit church. Thank you all for the thumbs up. I think my internet freezing up. Hello, Kenneth. My internet is freezing. I like to wear my hair this way, so let me change the direction. It's freezing on YouTube. Okay, I think I'm good on Facebook, but it's freezing on YouTube. So YouTube, hello Kenneth. I see Kenneth. YouTube, let me know if you can if the connection is still strong and if it's still good. YouTube, let me know if the connection is still strong and if everything is still good. Facebook, like and share. I think I'm freezing on Facebook as well. I'll roll with it. We're gonna roll with it. Might have my crochets in. Hair is it's not a walk in the park. It's not easy for me. So if I have any females logging in, email me some natural hair tips. How I double my credit and my cash flow after my divorce. And you can too. Hursful, you just got me your notarized information. And your affidavits will be mailed out tomorrow. The process would have been sooner, but you just had some understanding. You couldn't really understand how that. Yeah, Kenya, you caught me live. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the digital love. You did. Information. I tell people all the time that sending a picture and saving it in PDF as an email is not a scan, right? It's not a scan. All scanned documents have the background. Thank you, Kenneth, have the background cropped out. So that means I see nothing but the identification, right? Nothing but the identification. And our background is removed. So let me try to log off on Facebook and see if that's going to help my connection. All right. So how I doubled my credit and my cash flow after my divorce, right? And that's mainly my story because most women, believe it or not, I'm trying to put this down. I don't want to be too loud. Them, right? After divorce, their cash flow don't double. It's a loss of income from a partner or a spouse, right? And so the cash flow in some cases may not double. And definitely if you have any joint accounts, right, then those accounts by the ex-spouse may be negative and it may affect your credit, right? So I'm very thankful and grateful. Now, if you listen to any people, any of the experts concerning financial steps that you can take to achieve financial freedom, like Dave Ramsey, his first recommendation is to take his 7 baby steps, 7 things you should do, baby steps that you should take in order to improve your financial situation. And so for me, my first baby step after my divorce was to get an increase in my paycheck, right? And so a lot of people don't know how to increase their paycheck, how to bring home more money out of their paycheck legally, and how to get more tax deductions. The more tax that President Trump tax laws has changed, the more tax deductions that you have to claim, the more money you can get out of your paycheck. So I definitely started with that. I found or through the legal laws and learning an extra $500 out of my paycheck. And I think my connection is unstable. They're telling me they're trying to like it. It's internet connection. Let me check it. Okay, I think I'm back live. And so the first thing I learned, my WR is still unstable. Try to check the connection. I'm going to have to do a troubleshoot with my internet. But under these new tax laws, employees only have 6 with a business entity that teaches this financial education. And now you can qualify for up to 475 tax deductions. So with that implemented and included, right, and having a good tax specialist, I was able to get more money out of my paycheck. And the king of debt, and he said he's smart, right? When he thank you for the digital love, and he commented, well, they're smart, and it really does, because the rich understand that for every dollar that get taxed 30 cents on the dollar, right? They're going to bring home all of that money, or as much as they can. And if you look on your federal taxes, you can see that from your gross income, you are being taxed. Hello, Lee Brown. You are being on YouTube. Forget my hair. I'm probably going to be dangling with it, but I do see on YouTube where it continues to tell me it's buffering. So what I will do, Hurst, was probably upload this video from my Facebook, save it on Facebook, and then upload it on YouTube, and you can see the full connection. Another thing, I made sure that my credit was not impacted, and it wasn't. We had some things like our home that was in a joint loan that was still reporting on both our credit reports. And a second mortgage, but other than that, we had no additional other accounts joint connected, and our credit. So I made sure that those accounts, even though they were paid good and outstanding, I disconnected from my credit report anything in his name. And I'm actually in the process now of getting my name. So I made sure we had no joint credit cards, any joint things like that, other than our biggest dwelling place, which was our home, and things like that. The cars, all were either financing his name or my name. And I kept, possession of those, and I paid those off in full by the end of this year with my extra $500 out of my paycheck. And so I kept a base of my credit score, and I maintained good credit. The third thing that I did was I did not focus on getting out of debt, right? So, I know if you listen to Dave Ramsey, but I did not focus on becoming debt free, right? Because debt freedom doesn't always equate to financial freedom. Let me say that again. Debt freedom does not always equate to financial freedom. So what I did was focus on increasing my income, right? Increasing my income. Daniel Dennis said hello. Because if you have low income status, right? If you have very little income, you will find ways or to maybe get back into the debt that you're trying so hard to get out of because you don't have a spending problem, you have an income problem. Let me explain it this way. Even when you get out of your mortgage for your home, you're still going to have to pay the maintenance on it. You just transition from a mortgage now to maintenance. You're still going to have to pay for upkeep. Many people, when they get out of that 30-year, 15-year mortgage, one of the first things they do is they renovate because houses do depreciate, right? And if it's 30 years old, you'll go through the depreciation process. And now you have to redo some things. You have to re-maintenance some things. You have to upgrade some things, right? And you have to pay the property taxes. But what I do is I turn my house because I teach that assets or anything that takes money out of your pocket. Daniel, thank you for the digital love. Liabilities in it that put money. Liabilities, I'm sorry, is anything that takes money out of your pockets. Asset is anything, and strategies is I turn my home into an asset, right? Meaning that trying to reconnect. All right, turn my home into an asset, meaning that I have taken for my home through my W-4 wealth strategies that people that pay their bills and utilities and the mortgage for their home do not have, right? And right now, that W-4 wealth strategy to look at, adjusting your W-4 and adding a business entity to it, it's like $27.95 utilities, square footage of my home for business use. The next thing that I did was I created a consulting business, used my intellectual knowledge to create my consulting business, which is credit and cash flow strategies. And oftentimes, what a lot of people want to do is they want to ask me or inquire, how can I obtain business credit? And you're not even doing business. Or what should my business entity be, a LLC or C Corp? Well, first, the government is not even, you're not even on the government radar if you're not doing business. So at this point, if you just have a business idea and you're not implementing it, you're not taking action, then that's the first thing you need to do is take action. Even if you're operating as a sole proprietor, until you understand what holding company or entity to put it in, right? Now, I do recommend that if you're selling food or anything out of your home, that you do get some liability, even if it's limited liability, because you don't want people to sue you for your personal asset. You don't want people to protect people from coming out of your personal assets. But the first thing you have to do is get started. The first thing you have to do is implement. The first thing you have to do is not have a list of, to-do lists and you're not doing anything. I have people reach out to me sometimes, say, hey, I want to get business credit. And I inquire, well, what is your business? And they tell me why I want to do this. Well, start doing that, even on a small scale. And then you need to qualify for business credit, because a lot of business credit programs, they will charge you on the back end and not necessarily the front end, right? For business funding, which they may start off with credit cards. And what I mean by that is if you get, let's say, a $10,000 credit card approval for your business, they may charge you 10% of that credit funding, which is $3,000. So do you have $3,000 to put up or to pay back for a business that you have not even started? And then the last thing is I will really recommend that people do their own credit, right? And this is why, I know I make videos discussing why my hair just looks so frizzy. But anyway, discussing why I'm oppose do-it-yourself credit programs. And that's because a lot of do-it-yourself credit programs does not provide you the information you need to get a bankruptcy deleted, to get an original charge off deleted, to help you understand the difference in disputing a regular collection versus a medical collection for deletion and completion to get it off your account. But I've recommend that to people so they can really see how hard that process is. As a matter of fact, I have a lot of people who come to me and after they try to dispute their credit, and they've seen they've got no results, but they are still impatient with, and when I mean impatient is that if they don't see deletions in the first 30 days, they begin to get very impatient, and and you were not successful, right? I know I'm the queen, but what people don't understand is I get a flood of emails and text messages, but you're not, right? You're not the only, it's billions of people in the world with bad credit. And but my results are faster than a pay by the month, right? Depending on your credit situation services. So if you have 10 or more charge offs, then what's 6 months to a year to wait to get your credit cleared up. Because what people don't understand, for example, with charge offs, that if it's not sold to a debt collector, that has to go through the original creditor. And oftentimes that original company or creditor has information on file to help the credit agency verify. But if your charge off is sold to a collection company, then that collection company may not have purchased the original verification needed. So if you have a charge off, for example, with American Express, Discover, Capital One, Barclays, Bank of America, those big companies oftentimes probably did not sell your charge off to a collection agency, right? They want to pursue you in court for their money. And so that process is more lengthier. I've even heard some large credit experts say that, hey, we don't guarantee that, for us, it's like, hit or miss. We will try to dispute, but you never know what that original creditor has on file to, uh, at, to verify that account. Right. And then you want to be careful with getting charged out for companies like that, American Express, Discover, not paying your debts, because that means where are you going to go if you're trying to get new credit lines now? You've burnt bridges with these companies. It's just like if you were lending your cousin $500 and your cousin never paid that money back, and they came back to you a year later and say, hey, can I borrow $1,000? Well, if they haven't paid you the 500 back that they received from you a year ago, then why would you loan them 1,000, right? And it's also just like, why would you co-sign for someone whose credit is not creditable enough, for example, to get a car, right? Lee Brown, yes, I do help with inquiry removal as well. Pretty much everything. And so most people with bad credit, they are very impatient. But I tell people all the time that bankruptcy, you have to go through counseling to get it discharged. That charge offs, you have to wait 6 months for it to report as a charge off, meaning non-payment. So you can be equally as patient to get those negative items deleted or removed as you were to get them put on the account, right? And so, with me, those were my baby steps. I focus on more of getting more cash flow than just trying to focus on being debt free. I focus on leveraging my credit. That's why I say credit is queen, right? Credit is queen. A lot of people, may say credit is queen, but if you know anything about the game of chess, queen is the most powerful, and so we're not vertical, but diagonal and horizontal. And the queen can make many moves to protect the king, but the king is the most powerful. And so in my idea, The king, cash flow is king and the most powerful. And why is that? Because if you have assets, let's say real estate, let's say you have a rental house and you are a landlord, and as long as you have a tenant, it's bringing you residual or monthly income. That's king because you have monthly utilities and monthly bills due. Cash is not king because of its worth is devalued. The banks won't even give you interest on cash, right? If you have a savings account or a money market account, they may give you 0.03% interest to store that money into a savings account. So cash is not king. It's the dollar is depreciating by the day. But cash flow is king and credit is queen. You want to use your credit to create cash flow and to attain assets, especially if you don't have the money or the income or the high paying job. And if you have the high paying job, the high paying income, then you want to position yourself to pay as less in taxes legally as you can. Because what you don't understand is the biggest thing that's eating up your money and your paycheck is the amount of federal taxes that you have. The second biggest that's been taken out of your paycheck, the second biggest with collections that's under $100 that's on their credit report that they didn't pay. And usually collection companies, if it's under $100, they won't subpoena you or pursue you to court for that small amount. And so people don't pay, but they don't understand those collections that's under $100 on your credit report. It's causing you thousands because now you have to get things financed at a higher interest rate. Now you have to get double finance on that vehicle where it could have been 1.9% financing. Now it's 19% finance, right? And so you're paying double that the person, or now your vehicle insurance premium is higher because of your bad credit. And see, people don't look at those factors, or your cell phone bill or usage is higher because of your bad credit. See, people don't look at the little things that make big differences in their credit score. So once you find the extra cash flow, whether it's out of your paycheck or implementing a business, now you can have the actual money you need to pay down debt, because many people are in debt because they just don't have enough income. Even the economy, with President Trump saying we have more jobs now more than ever, and forget my voice, I'm a little hoarse. That's because those jobs are usually the lowest income paying jobs. If you look at the statistics, they're low income paying and sometimes part-time, right? And so he brags on that, but the income is too low for you, because we have prices that are in home prices are increasing every day because the value of the dollar is decreasing. And so if you don't make enough money, everyone needs somewhere to unless you're living in a tent, everyone needs a roof over their head. And even with a tent, you still be located on land, right? So everyone needs real estate, everyone needs land to live, to abide in. And so, once the prices are increasing for new vehicles, for new homes, for even rental homes, then if you don't make above minimum wage, or you have part-time salary, or you're not making at least double digits income. See, a lot of people call themselves middle class. But you're not middle class. You're middle class in my eyes if your income is at least six figures or higher. Or, so that to me qualifies you in middle class. If you're under a six-figure salary, you shouldn't, identify yourself as middle class. That's right at poverty level. When you look at the pricing, what a lot of companies are doing now with vehicles is people are financing them for 6 to 7 years just to be able to afford the monthly note. And they're not looking at how much am I paying over the lifetime of this loan for the vehicle. They just look at the monthly note because they don't have a high enough income. And so what you need to do is do things that reduce your highest expensive, improve your credit score. Look at the W-4 wealth strategy for $27.95. Everyone can afford that. Let's see how much money you can bring home out of your paycheck throughout the year, because most people file bankruptcy because they don't have an additional $200 or $600 a month, and they have to file bankruptcy. And so that's how you increase your credit. That's how you double up your credit and cash. Double your credit, double your cash flow. Once you get your W-4 wealth and your credit score up, then let's look at your whatever your business idea, whatever your business goal, whatever your business funding needs, whether it's inquiry removal, like lead acts, need to get some inquiries removed, whether it's you need to get derogatory accounts that will deny you from getting, whether it's inquiry removal or getting a bankruptcy deleted, because if you have a bankruptcy, you will not qualify for business funding or business credit cards. If you have too many inquiries, 5 or more within the last 2 years, you won't qualify for business funding or business credit card. If you have late payments within the last 2 years, you won't qualify for business credit and business funding. And with your late payments, that's a very strategic plan as well, or strategy as well, just like bankruptcy. Because what you don't want to do with late payments is, if you have a long history of positive reporting payments, reporting on your credit report, you don't want to delete that entire history of positive payments, because that makes up 35% of your credit score. So if you have some recent late payments, the first strategy that I do is reverse those and update it to paid as agreed, never late, because you want to keep that long standing of good payment history that is reporting. You don't want to delete their entire account, because if you do, it will cause your credit score to drop, to be low, right? So, hey, those are my strategies. Those are my baby steps. Get your credit, get your cash flow sweeps, and credit sweeps will temporarily hide negative items on your credit report, right? That method will hide negative items temporarily up to 30 to 49 days. But if you don't do it the correct way, those negative accounts will reappear and show up on your credit report, because what you're saying is you are a victim of identity theft. And so that has to be handled immediately if you are a victim of identity theft, right? But once they investigate and find out that you are not truly a victim of identity theft, they will replace, and those negative items will reappear on your credit report. So you want it done the right way. You want to get the financial credit to maintain a good credit score and keep a good credit score. And you want to shift your mindset, right? You don't want to cut up credit cards. You want to learn how to use credit cards, use your credit to get assets and not liabilities with your credit cards. You want to learn the healthy way to use credit card. I tell people all the time, my first flip and fix house was through a $5,000 Discover card that I received in college, right? If it wasn't for that credit, because at that time I was a college graduate, I did not have the money. I did not have a job, but I had credit. Cashier's check to myself and purchased a home that was foreclosed and fixed it and flipped it and made 10 times the amount on my first investment property. I wrote a cashier's check to myself from my Discover card account to my checking account to make that deal, make that purchase. 3 business days to get that consultation for you. It could be sooner, could be later, but I do tell, 3 to 5 business days. 3 to 5 business days, Antonio. Can be sooner. It won't be later, is what I'm saying, than 5 business days, but I have more faster, more expedite my clients. But every time I try to take a week or 2 off, I always get people that sign up, and I have to keep going And, and I have videos out here and people find my information. They just send the money for a consultation through PayPal and or Cash App. And so I have to, pay attention to that. But I am looking to go on a vacation soon because I'm speaking with engineers and developing my own software so that I can be able to service people and have their own portal where they can see when their disputes are out, what's being done and what's uploaded. And I will close with this, and I'm signing out. I saw on Will Roundtree's, if you know him, Mr. Will Roundtree. He's great in the credit industry. And someone posted on his Instagram that I reached out to your team about credit help, and they told me I need to purchase their credit report for $30. And I was explaining that I already have my 3 credit reports. Let me tell you this, people. If you're not willing to invest $30, or $21 a month to have your credit monitoring, because that company, I can't speak for Mr. Roundtree, but I know for me, for example, I only use a certain platform or a certain type of credit report. So I want it to be compatible with the software. Right now, I'm using another software just to do my credit analysis at a quicker rate and pace, right? I manually do all the other work myself, but I use that software for that purposes only. And you may have a credit report, but you may have it through Privacy Guard. You may have it through Credit Check Total. You might have it through Experian. It may not be the report that's compatible with the software that I use that makes my process much easier and efficient. So if you're not willing to use or invest your first upfront $30, and that person stated that his staff stopped emailing her. Well, once you get a first set of instructions and you don't follow them, I don't believe you deserve a second set or a second response, right? So just make sure when you sign up, information that you know how to scan and send that information via email, right? Or that you're going to follow the instructions that I give to you and use the platform that I use to get a credit analysis. So, or that you're willing to keep credit monitoring for $21 a month until your process is complete. Because want people to email me that I haven't heard from Equifax or TransUnion. It's usually Equifax or TransUnion because Experian offers free credit monitoring, right? Equifax and TransUnion do not. I don't want people informing me I haven't heard from Equifax or TransUnion and you have not kept your credit monitoring services to see the updates on your credit report. So be willing to make those small investments through W4 Wealth for less than $30. And the platform that I use is like $1 for 7 days. And a lot of people rush me, even with that, because they say, hey, I haven't received this credit analysis and I want to cancel my account before I'm charged $21 or $21.99 a month to keep the subscription. Listen, if you're not willing to invest $30, then you're not willing to maintain a lifestyle of good credit and cash flow, right? And so just know that's how I expediently get to people or respond through that platform. Antonio, I'm looking forward to partnering with you. I love it, love it, love it. I got a text message today, even though I asked people not to text me on Sunday, but this was such a positive text. I was glad and happy to receive it that this client had their bankruptcy removed from their TransUnion report and received a 79-point score increase as a result. And so I just love that victory. I love competing and winning. That's why I coach basketball as well, but that's why I coach people in the credit and cash flow field, because I just like the growth process of you transforming your mind and transforming your money as well, right? Transform your mind. Whether you're watching this live or in the replay, just comment, transform your mind and transform your money. So I'm over my time. I went over my time. I'm at 38 minutes, but I'm going to say this real quick. I made some posts on Facebook that said that if most people would stop volunteering their time, right, in church or in these clubs, and start on the weekend going to financial workshops, because mostly offered on the weekend, right? Then they can stop living paycheck to paycheck. I said that because let's have a little credit, church, that most people think if I tithe and I give my offerings alone, that's enough to obtain financial freedom and independence. And that's not true. Oftentimes, Malachi 3 in the Bible is taught and preached wrong, meaning that, sometimes pastor would say that, hey, if you don't tithe, I know people that don't tithe and they have unexpected maintenance problems, their vehicles break down. Um, there be or thank you, Kenya Blank, transform your mind, transform your money. Or you have maintenance problem in your home and unexpected income. Well, that might be true, but that's not what Malachi 3 is stating, right? Malachi 3 is stating that if you tithe, I will open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that you won't have room enough to receive. Actually, I have a book here. Let me try to get it without that's a very good read that talks about the 5 lessons a millionaire taught me, right? The 5 lessons a millionaire taught me. One thing in this book that is stated is that to give 10% to a church or a charity. So I'm not against tithing, but I'm just saying that scripture is often taken out of context because it's not stating that if you don't tithe, then you're going to have this type of bad luck. Even though I don't think you can enter into the rich and wealth zone if you don't give 10% of your income, if you're not accustomed to giving, because in order to receive, God loves a cheerful giver. You have to be a giver. And a lot of people say tithing doesn't just mean your money, it can mean your time. That's true. That is true as well, but it's also wherever you want increase in your life, then you need to give in that area. So if you want an increase of time, then give your time. If you want peace and time of your time free, then give your time. But if you want an increase in money, then sow money, right? And so and people don't understand when it says, I will open up the windows of heaven. See, what it means is that the Bible was written in agricultural terms. And so during these times, people would sow seed and they would tilt and harvest and have fields and sow seeds and get crops. And what happened was God shut up the heavens to allow rain, right, to fall on their fields and their crops and allow growth and produce because they were not tithing and giving. And so he said, okay, if you return unto me and you tithe and give, I will open up the windows of heaven. I will cause the rain to fall on your crops. I will not let your crops, let me see, be, destroyed or destructed, right? And I before that time, you'll have healthy crops, you have healthy produce, and I will open up the windows of heaven. And so tithing does, and he said, but if you don't, you'll be cursed with the curse. What is the curse? Well, the curse is you won't ever have a transformation of mindset. You won't ever have a healthy view about money and finances. You won't ever have God's blessing. That's why he said, I will open up the windows of heaven, pour you out a blessing. It was one blessing, it was the rain. You won't ever have his provision on your life. You won't ever get God ideas, right? A lot of people have a good God ideas and but they just got to act on them. You won't ever have those God inspired ideas. See, when I went through my divorce, I would have never thought credit. I had no desire during my marriage to help with credit. But because I was a giver and a tither, God gave me a God idea to increase my finances and increase my cash flow. Well, the curse is you won't have that inspiration. You won't have that mindset. You won't have those ideas. You won't have that favor from God, right? Let me tell you, you can be a tither and you can still have your vehicle break down. You can still have your HVAC unit in your home to break down, but God will give you the favor. He will give you the mindset. He will give you the idea to implement that when these things happen, that you will have the money to pay for, and it won't be stress on you or duress, right? That you will have the money to pay the bank to pay for these through his God-given ideas and inspiration. Or he will bring favor into your life. He will bring people into your life. He'll bring that mechanic in your life that may offer you a 50% discount, right? He may give you that promotion on that job that you probably felt like you wouldn't deserve without his favor. He may open up that job opportunity that you've been applying for years to come open for you. He opened up the floodgates of your business to be prosperous. Let me tell you, I have more clients in my business than I can handle. And I had to say, oh God, I need you really, that's what implementing systems and software, right? And so you need my help. Be glad to help you. Just visit my website, www.fixmycreditandcash.com. Please just don't send me a message or email, say, this is my number, call me. Cash.com. Creditandcash.com and go to book online. And if it's for credit help, let me see if I put the wrong thing. If it's for credit help, then the first steps you need to take, I talked about HTTP. I put that right, HTTP with Dave Ramsey, is to use that platform of credit that I use, $1 for 7 days. Save your credit report in HTML format. I also will give you instructions to do that. And then email it to me and I give you a credit analysis. I provide that in 3 to 5 days. And then it will also include a quote of what my services will be according to your goals and according to what areas that your credit needs improvement in. Right. So just know with bankruptcy and late payments, it's more strategy involved, and even charge-offs, even with bankruptcy. If it's not from reporting to the original creditor, right, then that's the foundation to get those bankruptcy deleted. And the original creditor listed on your credit file is the courthouse. And the courthouse inform you, we don't report this to the credit agencies. Same thing with charge-off. Bank of America, Discover, Capital One, if they do not sell it to a collection agency, they don't sell it to the collection agency, then they have your original documentation. And a lot of people talk about 609 credit repair, and they talk about if you cannot produce the original document with my signed signature, blah blah blah. Just think about it, people. This is 20. For credit cards, that's outdated. For credit cards, they don't need your wet ink signature in blue ink. You can go online and apply for a credit card. And matter of fact, with credit card, it doesn't even require your e-signature. So 609 is grossly misunderstood and misused when trying to repair your own credit, right? And then oftentimes, I have people who come to me and they have tried to repair their own credit. They know how tedious and difficult and challenging it can be, because I can see on their credit report, customer disputed in May of 2019 and disagrees. So I know you're disputing, or somebody is, because they'll have it on your credit report, right? So I know I'm the queen of credit. I am. I get results. I do. But everybody's results vary. It depends on the condition of your credit. So let's get your cash flow up, people. I tell my women and my men, right? This is my motto for dealing with my credit after my divorce. Don't deal with a broken heart if you're a woman and a broken handbag at the same time. Let's get your W4 wealth strategies up for $27.95. It's a Christmas special. The regular price is $99 as well. to see if you're losing $200 to $600 out of your paycheck, because you can use that extra cash flow. What if President Trump did what he did at the beginning of 2019 and he shut down the government, and you don't get your income tax? We have to be prepared for situations like this. And you have to be proactive and not reactive. The Bible states again, it's better to know a thing, right? I'm sorry, it's better to not know a thing, to know a thing and not act on it and not hear. So when you hear something, that's your preliminary period to get help. So don't delay, don't put it off. The longer you live with bad credit and negative cash flow, the more financial stress and duress. And so back to Malachi 3, that's why I tell people, if you are a person that, oh, thank you so much, Dave. He says I'm a real diamond. We'll go somewhere and try to do something with my hair, David. You all may see me in my braids again, because it just, this natural. It's not easy. It's not easy. But it, puff is up, but I still love it. I'm still able to run my hand, fizzes up at time. So it's better that when you hear a thing to take action, right? So even, hopefully income tax is not held up again. Once you get your income tax, invest in yourself, invest in good credit and cash flow, people, because we are going to experience an economic crash. They're calling it the Great Recession, and that's in comparison to the Great Depression in the 1930s. They're saying this is going to be the Great Recession because it involves student loans, delinquencies, repossession delinquencies. We still have the housing market that will be involved as well, because they changed it from subprime loans to now they call it non-prime loans. So we still have people with bad credit, adjustable rate mortgages, right? They just renamed it something else. And then you have the China and American tariffs that's occurring. And also now you have the automobile industry companies like GM, Chrysler, Nissan, for example. I'm from Mississippi. Nissan just did that, and January 2nd off without pay because their sales have plummeted and have dropped. And so we have farmers also, because of this terrorist act with China and the agriculture, you have that included, right, as well. And then we have the stock market that's going to crash. And why do I think the stock market is going to crash? Because anything that comes up high at an elevated level, the stock market is going to be involved too. The dollar that has lost its purchasing power, meaning that a dollar, and I did my latest video on Wednesday about investing as insurance and silver, particular, to preserve your dollar and the purchasing power. So you have to watch that, investing in silver, so you can have things to acquire assets that keeps it value, it keeps the value, and keeps the purchasing amount of power. And what I mean by that is, in 1968, you could have bought a McDonald's burger with a $20 of McDonald's burgers, let's say, 20 burgers. And now, because, well, no, it was more than 20 burgers, because they was like 15 cents a piece. So it was 100 and something burgers you could have bought with a $20 bill back in 1968. But now that same $20 bill only buys you 20 McDonald's burgers, $2.74, right? A silver coin or silver currency. And so that silver would have purchased you 20 McDonald's burgers in 1968, right? And so the value of this silver coin now is $18.74 versus $2.74 in 1968. And now in 2019, going into 2020, the same silver coin can roughly still purchase you 18 to 19 McDonald's burgers. So that's the difference between the dollar bill, and it's depreciating and investing in not assets, but commodities like silver and oil. So, hey, I'm way over time. Thank you so much. I look forward to you all working with me. Let's double your credit and double your cash flow for 2020. That's the vision. Visit my website if you want to inquire with me. Please don't send me your number because I won't respond. I would just have too many clients, and I can't, because most time people want to just call you to tell you why their situation is what it is. And people look, I've seen it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly with credit report. I know you want to explain to me why your situation and what it is and what happened, but it's not needed, and it consumes too much of my time. I have clients now that have paid well for my consultation, and that 30 minutes of the hour that you want to take for me to listen to that, I need to put it to use to being on the ground for their credit. And so it doesn't matter. You don't have to give me the story behind it. Just email me your credit report. Let me respond to you via email. My clients, they can tell you I have no problem unless they are rude and they want fast results. They're not being realistic. Then or they text me after 9 p.m. Or 10 o'clock, 11 or 12 o'clock, or they get frustrated and tell me things. Well, look, I paid you, just keep my money. I don't want you working. I have had people tell me that I don't want you working on my report anymore, but I still work on it. It might not be as fast as it would have been had you not told me that, but I still do it. I still meet my obligation unless you have shown me that you have some type of mental issues and you're just a person that I have to cut off from email and from phone communications. But my clients, you'll have no problem with getting me on the phone. The quickest response you'll get is by text. And sometimes even my response by text can take 24 hours. I wake up and I have 20 text messages. It takes me a while to respond along with the emails that I receive, right? And so that's why I'm working on software and system to expedite my energy, my attention to my clients, and my reply time frame. So hey, Queen of Credit here. You all have a great Sunday. Thanks for tuning in, and let's connect if we haven't already to improve your credit and your